Hey everybody, this is Minesh and welcome to Modernizing Biz podcast. This show is all about business, marketing, and entrepreneurship, where I interview some of the greatest minds from around the globe who will share their experience with you, and that's how we're gonna help in modernizing your biz for free. Hey everyone, welcome back to another guest episode of Modernizing Biz podcast. On this episode, we have Nishant with us. Hi Nishant, first of all, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I'll give you a short introduction of Nishant to the audience who have not know about you. So Nishant is a podcaster. His podcast name is Nickpicks. He majorly talk about business, sales, and a lot of his stuff around cold emailing and new business models. And then he's also founder of a company. He's building a venture by the name it's cytescale. We'll touch more about cytescale in the upcoming rounds. And then he's also content creator. He runs a lot of community. He posts a lot of content on Instagram. And yeah, Nishant, anything if you wanted to add about you, that would be great.
Yeah. So here's the thing that is misunderstood about me, that I'm just a content creator because haven't been open to a lot of people about my other businesses. So yeah, I have that one feeling in mind that people should know me about the things that I talk about in the business space and not just as a content creator. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's one thing that I would like to introduce myself on this podcast. That I'm more than that.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you can add some pointers, like what are you building? That what like I have not mentioned, or I've just mentioned the name of your podcast and one of your firm. So what are you doing apart
Right.
from this? What?
Okay. Okay. So currently we are building a product that will be into the website development space. It would be a automation no code
Hmm.
tool, and we are into the prototyping phase as of now, and we'll be testing it out in 2 to 3 weeks, and possibly see when's the launch and stuff like that. And by the side, I'm also creating content because I like it very much. I like communicating with people, speaking in front of the camera and sharing my ideas. So I'm doing that as well. And also here's this another side venture that I'm dabbling with around services, that I'm also providing full stack development services to clients, to businesses specifically, not to the main, let's say, individuals. I'm going
Hmm.
B2B in that side. So yeah, that's what I'm currently dabbling with. You can see exploring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing, man. First of all the best for your new product launch that you are just encountering
Yeah.
in next 2 or 3 weeks. So, Nishant, I
Yeah.
have listened your a lot of episodes that you have uploaded on your Nick Picks podcast. So I'm very stunned like around the content that you're producing. So it would be great if you can
Right.
just touch the point how you started. What is the journey of starting out your podcast? Like at what moment you thought that I
Okay.
need to start this podcast? Yeah.
See, the first thing that I had in mind before podcasting is I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot
Hmm.
of ideas that are I feel that good. I feel they are good, but I feel that will they be accepted in the society, or will they be even valuable enough to be shared? So I thought that let's put it out there. Let's put it out there and see how the people respond. And I got a pretty good response over that. And the ridiculous
Hmm.
ideas that I'm having are kind of having an impact on people's lives. So I'm all in for it. That's why I started it in the initial phase, because I wanted to build this community of people who are interested in business but don't have access to the exact business knowledge that they want. It is all in the scattered format all over the internet. I wanted to make that one package, one podcast that people will
Mhm.
come to, and where they'll get the knowledge that they want in a very structured manner. So that's the vision behind Nickpicks.
Amazing, Mary. So we both are land down to one similarity that when I started modernizing base podcast, I also have one thing in mind that I want to share my experience and learning out of the that like I have experience around sales, marketing. I'm building my startup, so that's where I started sharing all the ideas and the experience that we got, and simultaneously I invite guests like you who can share their ideas and who can share their inputs with the audience, and we are providing it for the free of cost basis. So Nishant, like where you see, like why I got to know how you started and why you started. Now, what's the future plan if you look at with Nick's Pick podcast, like where you
Yeah.
see in next 5-10 years with this podcasting?
I'm looking forward to get investors on board who can share what exactly they look in startups to invest, or what exactly is their vision around certain businesses. So I'm keen towards doing that in the coming years.
Okay. So, Nishant, we are seeing a lot of trend in the market that is currently going on related to audio
Yeah,
platforms. Like a lot of audio
right,
platforms that are merging. Like you talk about Avalon scenes that you are working, and then simultaneously you
right.
talk about Clubhouse recently launched their Android app, and then Discord servers. So, what do you think? Like, why this whole audience is coming into the online on audio mode where we are having a video format as well
Hmm.
that is more
See,
engaging?
hmm. Here's the thing about content. Okay, content distribution platforms, as they got shorter and shorter. Like the first we had YouTube, it had long form content. It was harder to make videos on YouTube. People wanted to shoot videos, edit them, and then post them and stuff like that. Then the format got shorter, or the platforms came which offered short form content. And what happened was the ease of making content and ease of distribution, it increased drastically, right? And when ease of distribution increases drastically, the ease of reach to more and more people increase. And seeing that reach, the greed of reaching to more and more people emerges, that feeling into a content creator's mind or into any random person's mind, that should I create content, will I be benefited from this? So that thing happened in the video format. So now the thing about audio is, even though in video in 15 seconds you need to look perfect, right? You need to look
Yeah.
perfect, right? In audio, you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to do you don't even have to do makeup. You don't even have to look perfect, or see what's your setup, see what's in the background. You just need to plug in the earphones, maybe possibly take a microphone and stuff like that, and just speak. You
Yeah.
might be sitting in your pajamas and you can take a session on itself, right? So that's the whole boom around audio platforms that I feel, because people have got this ease phenomenon in themselves, that they'll be very I'll say motivated to do certain things if the reach is higher. And if the
Okay.
reach is higher with a are you getting my point? If the reach
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
higher and they'll have to produce the content on easy levels, they'll be more and more keen towards using such platforms, and hence audio platforms are booming.
So, Nishant, you have add pointers from the point of view of content creators. If you look at from the
Yeah,
content consumers, from consumer side of
yeah,
the things, what I feel like, what I incline towards more podcast and audio platform is that, like, if we start YouTube, you need to sit in front of a screen. Like, let's say I'm watching my YouTube
right.
videos on my laptop, I cannot go anywhere, I can enjoy it. But the scenario is completely different. While driving, while doing any of the other activities, while working out, we can just plug in and just start listening, right? I sometimes do other works and
Right.
simultaneously like a podcast is going on in a background. I guess that's ease that is created through audio versions, and that's why it's going to become the I think it's going to be the next 7,000 crores industry. Like if you heard about Joe
For sure.
Rogan, he cracked the deal
150
with
million deal. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So that's
Spotify.
what thing that I yeah, all these aspects we when we look at, and it feels like in next 5 years, 5 years are might possible, it's the long run picture, but in next upcoming 1 or 2 years the whole scenario of audio platform is going to be at boom,
Yeah,
right?
and also here's the thing about the content creation space. Only 1% succeed. Like, as content is available around all platforms saying that audio content is going to boom, audio is going to boom, everybody is getting onto it. Everybody wants to become a podcaster. But what will happen is the only top 1% that will do it consistently and hack their way up by collaborating, by talking to guests, and by bringing in interesting conversations in the podcast space, they'll win. If you keep on saying three ways to boost your productivity, or five ways to increase the efficiency of your morning routine, these things are very generic. You won't
Yeah.
make a difference in that space. If you take the leap of faith with the audio, if you want to take the leap of faith with audio platform, you need to do something different. Every content creator has taken that leap of faith and seen the you know scene of success. Like, you can say, for example, PewDiePie, when he started his YouTube channel about 10 years ago, there was nobody to look at. He had nobody to look at, absolutely. he
Right.
just he just wa- uh, that gave him that one spectrum of being himself while presenting him in front of the audience, and he didn't know what to do. There were no footsteps to follow. He took that leap of faith, and now you can see where he is,
Right.
right? Yeah. So when you take that leap of faith as a content creator, that one thing that happens is, if you go different, then you see the people who relate with you come and watch you. But if you don't have authenticity in your content, you're just reading out from YouTube and reading out from certain blog articles. It won't reflect in your content, and hence the audience will also go lower and lower.
According to me, any, like, if any budding content creators who is listening to this episode, they need to just first identify that one niche that is unique from what market is doing, and then they need to start. What's your thought on this?
See, the first thing that I feel about niche is, at the start, you don't actually know what your niche is. You can build your personal brand around the personality you are. This has happened most of the times, because people who are passionate about business speak about random topics that can have business in them. Like, content creation is kind of a business in itself. So the people who are around that business space can speak about content creation as well. They can speak about, let's say, retail business. They can speak about wholesale business. It doesn't count that if you're in the digital product business, you should just speak about digital products business. You can speak about certain things and attract people based on your personality and your thoughts. It is not I'll say it is not that necessary that people overvalue the niche wala thing, that I should have the niche before I start out, right? I should have all this figure out, that I'm going to only speak about these things. You evolve as a content creator, right? You evolve as a person also. Like, if you don't uh, understand that process of your evolution, your content will get restricted, and you'll feel burnout over that point.
All right. So, Nishad, something like that. Let's take
Yeah.
an example. If it, if it, like, we have listened a lot of time from Gary Vaynerchuk that you need to document your content. Documenting is the right form of creating content. So
Hmm.
everyone's is having 72 different set of personality.
Right.
In individually, we are like different from, like, let's say, what's your thought process will be different for me than what I think about business. Like your sales strategy is something different from mine, and that's where we are different in human. That would be great strategy, I
Right.
guess. Next thing, Nishan, that I would like to jump in is that in your podcast you talk about more about new business model, modern business model that will going to last, that will, let's say, brick and
Yeah.
mortar traditional business model will not going to survive.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you think? So what are the new age business
Hmm.
models, and how, why they are necessary, and why they will evolve?
Okay. Okay. So this is such an interesting thing to dabble into, because the traditional business models, like that people are adapting to, are kind of fading away. I'm not saying traditional business models are fading away. The way that the execution is taking place is kind of fading away, because people are not paying attention towards the changes happening in the industry. I'll give you an example about Zomato. Okay, let's take an example about Zomato. Zomato has Zomato doesn't just have that one food delivery wala revenue stream. It has three revenue streams. First thing is the food delivery business that they have. Second one is the advertising that they do on their platform, and the third thing is the consultancy that they offer. Right? If anybody from the audience has listened to or read about this Zomato's three business revenue streams, they'll just get the point that I'll be saying, or I'll explain it in a very layman terms. Okay. So the first thing that Zomato does is, they deliver food, first basic thing. Okay. So they have their cut while delivering stuff. So also they are providing offers to bring in more and more people. Also they are providing incentives to business to make sales through Zomato and stuff like that. That's just the personal brand that they are building, or professional brand they are building around themselves. Okay. So the next thing is they are focused more on advertising also. Like, if you want to rank above someone, if you want to rank above another restaurant or something, they can offer that sponsored ad wala segment, and they'll rank you above them. Okay. So this is the second thing. The third thing is, and here's the interesting thing. Okay. The third thing is, they offer consultancy. So how do they offer consultancy? The main thing that they look for is user data.
Okay.
This is a really underrated concept, and it will be really, I'll say, booming in the future. It is not underrated, I'll say, but not a lot of people are have the fundamentals right when it comes down to data. They have many misconceptions of how data will be handled in the business's hands. So here's the thing: how data is handled in modern businesses. Okay, your personal data is not used. Let me get it clear: your personal data is not
Hmm.
used. The people who you are related with, or the people who share same ideologies with you, or same interests with you, you are grouped together, and then your package is processed, and then it is further distributed, or further processed and analyzed, and then the ad strategies are implemented. Let's say for example, take the example of
Hmm.
Zomato itself. Okay, Zomato knows in which area, like let's suppose area A, you're living in area A. Zomato knows that from area A, products from 0 to 500, or let's say 300 to 400 price range products are purchased. Okay, and they also know that in this area, veg products are
Hmm.
preferred more. Okay, so they have two data
Yeah.
points, I'll say. So this is not particularly to you. This is subjective to that area. It is a collective data point and not a personal data point. Like the fiasco that we had around WhatsApp
Hmm.
privacy policy, I'll say they do not sell your personal data, but they share the data of people who you share
Yeah.
similar interests with. ओके, अगर आप मार्वल के फैन हो और अगर आप डीसी के फैन हो, it will absolutely relate you with those people, and then share the package data instead of selling or using individual data. So when a certain business, like I said, the consultancy business of Zomato, when a certain business comes to take Zomato consultancy, what they do is they process a data, they process the data points over a certain area, over a certain parameter, like let's say price
Yeah.
range, or let's say the food choice, or let's say veg non-veg, or anyway. So they process these data points, and then get further to analyze what can be the right fit for that area, and then they give you the
Okay.
consultancy, right? So this is one way your data can be used. This is one way your data can be processed and utilized for making profits for a certain business.
They use a lot of demographics, I guess, right, Nishan? Sorry to interrupt you. They majorly in the one word, if you want to use this third strategy of Zomato revenue stream, is they use the demographic of the
Hmm.
audience in order
Hmm.
to, yeah, provide
Yeah,
consultancy. Yeah, Nishan, carry
exactly.
on.
Like you can say that businesses are more keen towards using your data and stuff like that, but people don't actually know how the data is being used. They feel like their personal data, like their phone numbers and their let's say profile pictures, are being shared. No, yeah, in faulty businesses they might be shared, but in not major businesses this thing doesn't happen. The use of data is subjective to how ethical the business
Mhm.
is. So now if Zomato is processing your data and making profits around it, I feel that it is okay as a consumer, because I'm only getting more and more restaurant more and more choice based
Hmm.
restaurant that I want, and they have my data, so I'm only getting benefited by it. I'm not saying Facebook wala strategies are perfect, because they have used it in the past for various illegal reasons also. If you
Hmm.
heard about Cambridge Analytica and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So those things also happen. And the data privacy thing that people kind of overrate it is not that evil that it is perceived. It is not that evil.
Okay. So, Nishant, Google also run that this targeted demographics ads. If you log, they do the remarketing. If you go for and purchase some, you
Yeah.
just seen something, a sunglasses of Fast Track, or if you seen that an Apple iPhone on Amazon, you get the same targeted ads on your social media and around the platform. Even if you're searching Chrome, you get the same ad. That is the remarketing they are using. So what do you think? Google is also using our
Yeah.
private information, or they also using just the demographic elements to show the show the products that we like?
Okay. So Google is such huge that they have absolutely everything that they
Hmm.
want from us. Like in some or the other product, they'll be taking the access of almost everything that we are doing in the online space. Every footprint is
Hmm.
recorded by them. So if you are not giving permissions to one product of theirs, like if you don't give location permissions to one of their products, some other product will
Yeah.
take it from you. So
They,
Google is operating on a very huge scale, and some or the other product will access your one data point that will be useful for them to make profits and generate ads to, and target ads towards you.
Okay. So when it comes down to model business models, so you find out that Nishant, this is the Zomato business model is something that will going to last for upcoming. Let's take an example of 5 to 10 years. That will not
Hmm.
going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So what are the other business
Right.
models that you feel like that will going to come up and that are in just starting phase? That are in just budding phase.
Okay. So as I said, every modern business can't just rely on one business model. I have this phenomenon called as hybrid business models. I always look for businesses that interest me have these hybrid business models in themselves. Okay. So hybrid business model consists of, let's say there's set A, there's set B, and there's set C. The intersection, and these are individual business models. Let's say subscription based, let's say one time payment, or let's say direct to consumer, that when you purchase my
Hmm.
product you'll get the product. Okay. So these are three business models, three sets: set A, set B, and set C. When you combine these sets and get an intersection, the intersection part is what I call the hybrid business models. I'm very much interested in the businesses that offer these hybrid business models to their let's say investors, or their business models are kind of uh, modern
Hmm.
and futuristic. I call
Hmm.
them hybrid. Okay. So फिर से अगर जोमेटो का एग्जांपल ले, it is absolutely working on these principles. As I said, they have three revenue
Hmm.
streams. Also, if they want, they can also introduce a coaching revenue stream into their business. Let's say, like they'll coach around how you can go about and start your restaurant, or how you can cook certain stuff. A lot of doors are open,
Yeah.
right? So when you play around in that intersection of these sets that I talked about, you have very high possibility of opening more and more doors towards your long term vision.
Okay.
So let's suppose more businesses focus on partnerships, more businesses focus on mergers, acquisitions, or advertising. Let's say Facebook, there are subscription models, there are one time payments, there are direct to consumer models,
Hmm.
any which way. But how uh, how adaptable is your business models to the upcoming calamities or upcoming drastic I'll say, as we seen that around COVID, most of the businesses died.
Exactly.
Why did they die? They just had that one revenue stream or one model that they were following, which absolutely vanished off when certain things got uh, let's say stopped.
Okay.
Okay, so if those businesses had certain ideas around partnerships, or around dabbling into some other space, or having some consultancy businesses or data driven approach towards things, they would have absolutely survived the calamities that they faced. Like, let's say for example, real estate companies won't uh, I won't vouch for them, because the industry absolutely stopped, right?
Hmm.
Nobody was renting properties, or nobody was going to hotels and stuff like that. So those were kind of I'll say meant to die
Die.
or meant to fall. But in that space also, Oyo would have done better as compared to other businesses. Why would I say that? Because Oyo also has that amount of data
Yeah.
that I'm saying about Zomato. They can process, they can tell you how what price range is an area likely to buy a hotel room for.
Okay.
They have that data. If somebody comes to them for consultancy, they'll process this area's data, analyze it, and the data analysts are there to do their job. They'll just give you one full spreadsheet or one presentation, that hey, this is the business model you can follow, and this can benefit you. You can start your hotel over
So,
here.
Nishan, do Oyo really have this consultancy business model? I'm not aware about it.
uh, yeah, I'm also not quite aware about it, but I feel that
It can be a
it
really
can
good
be a really
idea.
good point to add
Someone
it
who
in
is
those apps.
hearing from Oyo all the revenue, all the royalty coming down to the pocket of Nishant. Okay, so Oyo have
Yeah.
also like do this thing of self isolation wards. They have made all of their Oyos into the self isolation wards. So still they are into the revenue model. Their revenue
Yeah.
have affected, but they have not been into
Yeah.
the negatives. They're still doing something they can cover operational cost.
Right. Right.
Nice. So question
Right.
goes like this: like, how do you think will modern business survive in next 20 years down the line? If you look at,
Okay, so as much experience that I have around, observing businesses or executing strategies for myself, it's not much. But as much as I've observed about other businesses, I'll be honest with you. I feel currently, if you focus on the B2B
hmm,
part of
hmm,
things, like business to business part of things, you will
okay,
go a long way. That's what I feel as of now, because in certain, see, this thing is there to last. The COVID scenario isn't getting finished in a couple of years.
exact,
This is my assumption about it. It is there to last. So people and businesses have this thing in mind that collaboration works. Collaboration works to the max. And if more and more businesses collaborate with each other, the end product that's
hmm,
going to the consumer, it will be a refined and a furnished one. So in future, the collaboration space is gonna go
hmm,
booming. That's what I feel. So if you go B2B, if you go business to business, your services are offered from business to business. May it be, let's say, if you're offering coding services, like full stack development services, it is just a B2B space. Or maybe you're
yeah.
offering a SaaS product to a business, whatever it may be. But if you're going B2B, it will be a really good advantage seeing in the longer run, as I'm looking at the collaborative approach in the
Okay.
business space.
Amazing, amazing, Nishant. And the one last thing that there's a lot of concept around blockchain has been going on. If you have like pretty aware that people are more
Yeah.
fond towards decentralization. So like this tech based
Hmm.
product. If you look at, if you heard about Brave browser, you heard about Brave browser, Nishant. Yeah. So what they are doing, that is amazing.
Yes.
Like you will
Yep.
get paid for seeing ads, and users data will be keep it private. They'll not majorly the personal information
Right.
that we feel like when it comes down to Google, Facebook, they might play with our personal data, but the Brave is ensuring that we are here to keep it safe and
Yeah.
secure because it's in the blockchain system. So do you think so this can be a future, this can be one modern business
Right.
model that will have zero impact of COVID?
Yeah. Not zero, I would say. Businesses built around blockchain, just because the technology is efficient enough to handle certain processes. Okay. It won't be just one other cool thing that is the only thing that they'll be using in the future, because it is there, it is a part of technology and it will be used. But I won't say that it will be the only thing that will be used. The decentralized economy that most of the people talk about is not the near
Okay.
future. Here's my interesting take on it. Why I don't feel it is the near future, at least in India, because 90% of Indian population is not even close to knowing what blockchain is, or what even this new age decentralized thing is. So if you what is our tendency to look at is, we look at the 1% that we vibe with or we
Hmm.
resonate with. We forget the almost 90% of the Indian population that doesn't know
Yeah,
about these things. So for them to adapt to these things will take a hell lot of time than to us to adopt to
exactly.
these things. And major part is not us. Major part is that
Yeah,
90%.
got.
So to for this technology to go more and more into these masses, it will take a lot of time. It is the future, but it will take a lot of time. You could say, I won't give a rough estimate, but you could absolutely say more than 30,
Yeah,
40 years.
even I could relate with it.
That's just my guess. That's my bet I'll be putting.
I could relate with it, Nishant, because I was trying to explain what crypto is to my dad, and it's very difficult for me. Like I've tried to put it in a simpler words, but still, like not he's
Right.
not able to get it. So that's why for a 50 or 50
Yeah.
plus year old, it's really difficult. And even the generation, even the people who are living in tier three, tier four cities, like if you look at in the masses, it's difficult to the provide the information around blockchains and all.
Right. So it is not just about, I'll say, 50 plus wala thing. It will also be applicable to
Okay.
our age also. We feel like the people we hang out with are, let's say, our age of 20, 25, 30. The people we hang out with resonate with our thoughts. Okay. We'll be from tier 1, tier 2 cities. But there are people of our same age in tier 3 tier 4
Yeah.
cities also. They won't have access to the
Hmm.
information that we have. So it is not about the age gap, it is about the knowledge gap
Okay.
that we are looking at.
Agree. So they're also not curious
Yeah,
about these things. Like
yeah,
they'll also like what we will do to her about blockchain. They will not have any
absolutely.
zeal to learn about it. You also touched that point in one of
Right.
your episode that you talk about cold emailing. I'm very fond of sales. I like my business and my day-to-day work revolve around sales and marketing. So I would love to touch that point as well. At last
Yeah.
pointer from my end is that why you think that cold emailing will also work, and what is the best strategy for you to get results from out of it.
See, a lot of people say that cold emailing is dead. Nobody will respond to your emails. So why don't you go about and reach out to someone on social media? I've heard this, and I say that if masses are doing something or masses are saying something, na, you can absolutely try you can absolutely try going the opposite way. I decided that let's see if cold email is such tough now. So if I crack a deal using cold emails, it will be a very great boost for me to for my future deals. So I went about and started my thing of cold emailing.
Mhm.
And when I started it, I was like that one guy who is just emailing certain people and not knowing what I'm doing. But later, when I felt and showed that empathy towards the
Okay.
person I am sending, na, I felt like, will I even read my email if that is sent to me? No, because it was it. I'll be honest.
Hmm.
There were two paragraphs, there were three paragraphs, and I was like, I won't read these things. If a person is unknown to me, why would I sit and read to his two three paragraphs? I won't do that. So what I did was did some research
Exactly.
and developed my
Hmm.
own strategies to why should I keep the cold emails the way I'm keeping it now. What are the exact strategies that I should follow to get that one response, and then later convert that response into a sale or into a connection, let's say, into networking. So what I did
Hmm.
was applied certain strategies around how can I optimize that cold email. Let's say, for example, I'll just give you one quick hack. If people in the audience will be using it, it will be really beneficial for them. Once I
Hmm.
emailed this agency. It was a design agency. Their name included chai, tea in it. Okay. So my subject
T.
line, yeah.
Okay.
So my subject line in that email was, uh, I wanted to collab with them as I was offering the full stack development services. So if they had any development clients, they would have outsourced it to me. So I want to do that collaboration. So what I did was, in the subject line itself, I said, our collaboration will be as sweet as chai, and I inserted that chai wala emoji.
Okay.
So
Nice.
these are the things
That is
to
a
play
nice
around
pickup
with.
line.
Yeah. So and the guy
Yeah.
responded in a very jolly manner. He was really interested in talking more about what am I going to provide. So it is just about going into that person's head by just saying two three lines in the start. If you just put in that, hi, I wanted to collaborate with you, or are you up for a business collaboration, nobody will even open that email. Or even if they did, they'll judge
Yeah.
you in the first place, that hey, this guy is not that experienced into talking to people or emailing people. He's just playing around with bulk emails and stuff like that. And later, when I mentioned the content of email, okay, the content of email said that it wasn't descriptive about myself. It was telling them what I am going to provide to you that will be beneficial for you. It was The email was not about I. It was about you. When the emails are about you and what
Okay.
you are going to get from my side, then the chances of being responded are very very high. I believe in this thing, this quality is always greater than quantity. So instead of sending 5,000 bulk emails,
Hmm.
I'll just send 100 5,000 of bulk emails and getting responded, let's say 7, 8, 10 times. I'll just go research about someone and send personalized email to 100 people, 200 people, and get whatever 10, 20 responses from it. I am
Okay.
ready to put in the research. I am ready to put in the work to know more about a person or a company than to just go randomly and put it in the email list and send the bulk emails to 5,000 companies or 5,000 emails. Okay. So that strategy worked for me, and I'm really passionate about teaching people about cold emailing. Yeah.
Amazing. If we keep it in a simpler terms, that cold bulk emailing will not work. Personalization and sharing it in a format of email will going to do wonders in business. Majorly, you touch the point of B2B
For sure.
business deals. If you
Yeah.
talk about business to customers, if you look at B2C deals, do you find that this personalized emails will also work? If you look at about B2C, or it is going to work in B2B only?
It will. I feel like B2C, if you want to go B2C, the cold email strategies are for the testing wala groups or the early adapters, and not the real massive
Hmm.
consumer of your products. So if
Okay.
see, depends on product to product. See, if your product is priced at $99 or higher than that, or whatever it may be, you'll have less customers to play around with. So you can make a point to retain those customers to max by using the email strategies.
Hmm.
But if you have a product that is, let's say, $1, $2, it will go around the market for masses. You can't keep in touch with all the masses that will
Hmm.
be using your product. So you can, who you can stay in touch with for better relationships with your audience or your customers, is the early adopters of your product, that is the early testers of your product. Okay. So if you
Okay.
are getting feedbacks from them, and if you're developing product your product based on the feedbacks and reviews that they are giving you, it will be beneficial for you itself, and it will be beneficial to build a relationship with those early people that you are exposed to, and it will be helpful for later products or later offerings that you'll be having.
Amazing, amazing, Nishant. I hope the people who have into the field of sales can apply this strategy. I'm not aware about audience, but I am aware about myself. From today itself, I'll plan my the personalized cold emailing strategy. I can see that it can give us a good results. Nishant, anything else you
Yeah.
wanted to ask for me? That's it. I'm done from my end. Anything else you wanted to ask?
Okay.
That you got? Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing I would like to ask you is how what's the game you're playing with this podcast? How long are you? What's your vision about around this?
Okay, so I'll start with the journey first. So majorly we started with when we are into the peak lockdown phase, the first phase of the COVID-19 in 2020.
Yeah.
So in the month of March, May, June, I was like I'm more people oriented person. So like I love to interact with each other. We have that one similarity. So I'm more people's person. So that's what one thing that I'm missing the most. Even I'm working, but the one thing that is missing, the quality conversation with people. Earlier, like
Hmm.
lockdown ke pehle, it was a good life that we are living. I used to go in a lot of LinkedIn meetups. I used to attend a lot of meetups, but everything's come down to an end at that time. I feel like it's a full stop.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got to know that I'm curious to learn about business. I wanted to at the end jump into this startup, and I was like, I need to boil down to one thing. Then I come down to idea that why not come and share, why not learn from people who are already into business. All right, and that's where I started with this podcast, and that's where I started learning more about it, and that's why I start bringing a lots of guests. We have interviewed a good amount of guests. If you look at some like from the founders, entrepreneurs, and we try to create value, and that's where the podcast is started. And the
Right.
reason why I'm doing it, it's more I see, Nishan, keep it very bluntly, but it's like I'm not chasing any kind of a views or something like that. It is something for deeply for myself, that we are doing this. I'm totally into
Hmm.
this conversation, and I love the day. I love that moment that when we are discussing, and that's what I love. And that's why I started out this podcast, and this is more of something that I love doing, since you also do love doing the content. And that's why I started. And then after 1 or 2 months, I like uploaded 15-20 episodes, guest episodes. Then eventually I started working once again, and then I'm not able to find any time, like it's from morning 9 to evening 10. And then I took a break, and then I eventually
Yeah.
still I started out, and I started with the boom that every single week we're going to upload 2 episodes. And what my plan is to just keep it more, like try to bring more guests, a good amount of quality conversation that we had today. And yeah, that is
Yeah.
so far, that is the goal. Planning to create in a video format soon, in upcoming
Yeah.
month. Yeah, that's what the goal so far, Nishant. I hope you got the answer.
Great, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I was looking at the long term wala thing, but as you're saying, you're loving the process of having conversations with people who have been into business or who have experience around something or who share uh, uh, greater ideas or greater views around something. That's really fascinating to know, because not a lot of people have that one I say let out wala thing that they can share their ideas to. So if you can find people who are I'll say random enough to share their ideas, share
Mhm.
the ridiculous ideas, and get it to the masses or the audience, it will be really helpful
Mhm.
for those people to get that push, because ridiculous ideas from great products or great companies that that's what I feel. Like Google was just a search engine. Now it is a ecosystem
Yeah.
around uh, anything and everything that you'll foresee. Okay, so that's what I was saying, that
Mm.
if you can take people who are uh, subjective to their ideas, and they have this grit towards going about and making it into a reality, it would be great to have those people on the podcast.
Yeah. So far that will come down to that. I'm planning to expand, planning to have one or two teammate will help us out in reaching out to
Right.
reaching out to the guest.
Hmm.
Surely will I'll also work on that strategy, Nishant. And thank you so much for being on Modernizing Biz podcast. Like I got a tons of value, and I'm sure that audience will also got tons of value. We have touched a lot of new aspects and nuances about the business. I hope you loved this
Yeah,
episode.
I am absolutely in the zone right now. That when I talk about these things, I just get into certain zone that I like to be in. So I'm in that zone, and I'll be really thankful to you to get me into that zone again. And yeah, thank you for having me. I hope the
Yeah.
audience also got really good insights from this
Okay.
conversations, and maybe hopefully they'll also apply certain strategies that I just said. And maybe it's not just about me. I'm just a random person over the internet telling you things. So if you want to take that up and test it out yourself, go ahead and do that. If it can work for you, it has worked for me.
Cool. Nishant, it would be great if you can just name down your social media handles if audience want to connect with you after this, so they
Yeah.
can.
Okay. So on Instagram, it is Nishant underscore Shete, Nishant underscore Shete. And on Twitter, it is the Nishant Shete. Just that.